If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Friends and grasshoppers, this is the Formless Podcast with Tyler, the superhuman, and me, Dustin.
Good morning.
Good morning. How was Thanksgiving, man?
Thanksgiving was good. Yeah, we had a family get together at our property here locally, and we have a large chunk of property out there in Cottonwood, in Northern California, and we have a house that was my grandparents' house that was built in the 1920s, and it's in kind of rough shape, but it's
a cool house. Though.
It's a cool house. And so we cleaned it out and kind of dressed it up, and we had a bunch of people over. I don't know, there's probably 15 of us.
No kidding.
Yeah, and there's no electricity in the house or really on the property, but there is a well and a pump that I hooked up. It was a little solar setup, and so we got water into the house.
Okay.
And so you have like some cold running water in the sinks and a toilet. And and so we had some generators to power some like crock pots and whatnot.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So it was cool. We had a fire pit and just
had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time. And my cousin Tish, Sensei Tish,
yeah,
she brought her horses down, and her and her daughter Gracie, they went riding all over the property, and so did her and Joe, Sensei Llewellyn.
Yeah,
and it was a good time, and we just ate and hung out, and it was a good day.
Right on.
What about you guys?
Right on. We went to my mom and dad's. And it's the first year in about 5 or 6 years that we've done that. We've been doing them at home, work, school, a little bit of family stuff going on. And so it was the first year that I didn't have to make anything. The last 3 or 4 years, the boys and I made Thanksgiving dinner because my wife has been going to school, and she's getting ready for finals.
Okay.
And so it was like, and I'm like, I'll take care of it. And so I've got a turkey down, cooked on the barbecue down pretty happy with my situation there. But this year I didn't have to do any of it. So it was cool. It was a good time though. We got to visit with my sister, my brother, my other brother, went with his extended family down in Yuba City. So didn't get to see him, but we'll see him at Christmas and his clan. But it was good times.
And you just had to show up.
Yeah. Just show up, bring the Bloody Marys and have a good time. It was awesome.
That's fun. Fun.
It was good. It was good times. My sister's an excellent cook. My mom's a good cook. She's excellent too. Don't shoot me. They made like almost everything, and then had a great time.
That's good.
Good times.
That's good time.
Yeah. So, what else is new? Anything good?
Yeah, no.
It's a time to be thankful.
It's a time to be thankful and for what we have, and it's definitely fall.
Yeah.
We're in fall now.
Foggy this morning.
Yeah, foggy, and we're what, about a month away from winter. Winter doesn't officially start until December, a couple days before Christmas.
Isn't that kind of weird?
It already feels like winter, but we're just kind of in late fall now.
Yeah. There are still colors changing on the trees and whatnot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mid to late fall. But yeah, it's winter doesn't start till a couple days before Christmas, which is weird. It's as cold as it already is. And
I'm ready for it. I'm excited. But so I want to tell you a little story.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a little story. So I grew up in Anderson. For all its good and bad qualities. Right?
Hey, careful.
No,
I grew up in Anderson.
I love this town.
I
love this town. It's a great little town, but it's a rough and tumble town. It's got its charms, we'll say.
Yeah, it does.
So my dad worked at this warehouse, and he had a bunch of friends that he worked with, and we would occasionally meet up, do barbecues and swim in people's pools and stuff in the summertime. And I'm going to tell this long story, and we're going to get to the point here. But my dad had this guy that he worked with, whose wife had she had a physical issue. And I don't know like the extent. Remember, I'm a kid at this point in my life. I don't know the extent of her physical medical issues. It was some form of an arthritis. And anyway, so our families like hung out together for a long period of time. Get together on random weekends and do barbecues and go swimming and just that sort of thing. Really good people. And this lady who physically couldn't do all of these things, but she was just amazing. She was just super sweetheart. She was one of those people like every day is a holiday. It seemed like she's just joyous, just super happy to see you, happy to be there, interested in everything and everyone and what everyone's doing. You know those types of people. They remember your name. They remember your dog's name. They remember everything, right? Like, oh, you were dating that one girl. How's she doing? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, I haven't dated her for 6 months. What are you talking about? But
one of those ladies. Yeah.
The type of person that like, and it's genuine. It's not like this, like just being nice for nice sake. Like she was a genuinely like amazing person. Fast forward a little bit, this warehouse my dad worked at with her husband closes down and everyone kind of scatters to the four winds, right? Life changes, income's got to come in. And so people make changes. And due to no fault of anyone, I don't believe, we kind of like not really fall out, but we just don't see each other on the regular. I grow up, move out, go away, get married, have kids of my own. And I'm walking through a restaurant. This was about 20 years ago. I'm walking through this restaurant. I get through the lobby and it's like a Friday night, right at 6:00, peak dinner hour. You know, everybody's there. Everybody and their dog are in there and it's loud as can be. And I hear this voice call out my name that I hadn't heard since I was probably 10 or 11 years old. Right. And it's super distinct. And I can place it, but like, I don't know where it came from. Right. Like it's familiar, but it's just not.
You just can't quite.
It's not at the forefront of my brain. Right. It's like in the back in the fog. and I'm like, what the heck? And this little lady who's probably all of about 5'1" or 2 comes hobbling out and gives me this bear hug of a hug and squeezing me to where I can't hardly talk. And she's talking a mile a minute. And she's asking me all these questions about my family, about my brothers, about my sister, how everybody's doing. She's asking about my wife, who she hasn't even met, but she knows through the grapevine of like all of the families that have like still contacted each other. Yeah. Cause like her husband and my dad worked together for like 10 or more years. They worked together. And so, you know, and like everybody's like, when something happens, it goes through the grapevine of all these other previous employees because they were a pretty tight group. Anyway, she's asking me about this stuff rapid fire. And I'm like, who is this crazy lady? I remember her once I finally look down and see her. I know who she is, but it's been so long that like, I barely remember her name because I haven't thought about it. I haven't called it out in 20 years. And catch up. Long story short, we catch up. And then I see her periodically. I introduce her to my family, of course. I'm there with my in-laws. And Hunter is like, I want to say he's like maybe a year. So this was 17, 18 years ago. Wow. This happened.
Okay.
So I introduced her to my kid, at the time, my one kid, and my in-laws and my wife, who she knows her name, but she hasn't like officially like met, right? Go through, do all of that, move on. Don't see her again for like 5 or 6 more years. This time I see her husband at like a kids' school event, like cross country meet or soccer tournament or something. We meet again, same story. She gives me the big bear hug, talks a mile a minute, super happy to meet me again or see me again. All of the, all these rapid fire questions.
Asks about Brighton.
Yeah. Asked about my wife, asks about the kids, asks about my parents, all of this stuff. Catch up. Each time I saw her, she was just a little bit more, like the first time I saw her, she was still walking. The second time I see her, she's in a wheelchair. But she's still the same person. She's still that bright, like vibrant, super happy soul. She's amazing.
What was her name? Or do we not? We'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, no.
Or do we
I didn't ask permission.
Gotcha.
From the people.
Gotcha.
And her name. I'll just give you her first name. It was Trisha. And I didn't ask permission to tell this story, so I don't want to go like too deep into that. But I'll just say that, yeah, Trisha. So fast forward to last week, she had passed away due to a complication from one of her surgeries. And she had many, many surgeries to replace her knee or her hip, or she had just all sorts of stuff. I don't even know how many surgeries she had, but she had a fair number, like up there with Evel Knievel, if you know who that is. Like quite a few.
Oof.
Yeah. But yeah, she passed away due to, I believe, due to a complication to one of her many, many surgeries. And it was probably, of course it's a sad time. We're all going to miss this person. But the really, really neat thing was the amount of people that showed up, and the way she touched so many people, their lives, was really cool. She had this really neat knack of remembering people. If she met you, she would remember your name. But the other really cool thing was every single person. Now, this was the biggest funeral. Did I say that already? The biggest funeral I've ever been to, at least that I can recall. It took place in a gymnasium, and we filled it up. Like,
wow,
full of people, right? So I don't know how many people you can cram in a gymnasium, but there was a lot. Definitely north of 100. I didn't count, but way north of that. So, of course, they open the floor and people are talking, and her granddaughter's got a microphone and she's running back and forth to the different people so they can have a microphone. That's how many people were there. We had to have a PA system.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. But every single person that talked, they either, they were her family or friends or somebody that she worked with a long time ago. So they all told a story. She liked to play practical jokes. She liked to have fun. But they all told a little story about her, something that she overcame or some funny thing or some really cool story. But every single one of them added, they never heard her complain, that she just didn't complain. And here was a person that literally had like every right to complain. She was in constant pain. And she was always seeming to be recovering from some surgery of one or another. But she just never complained. And that thing that stuck with me. And I'm telling this story now because like I said, we used to hang out all the time. And we hadn't hung out. We hadn't done things. Our family hadn't done things together for a really long time. And so I didn't feel like it was my place to stand up and talk and say something, although I wanted to, because I thought very highly of this family and this Trisha in particular is a wonderful lady, or was a wonderful lady. I didn't feel like it was my place to like say something. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, I kind of would have been like, I felt that it would have been like saying something. I felt like that was more for the family and more for people who had known her longer. Right. So I was just like, I'm not going to say anything, but anyway.
But now you wish you had.
But now I wish I had. So now I'm like, dang, I wish I would have had said something, because she was a super sweetheart of a lady, and it gave me two big thoughts. One was the fact that she didn't complain. The fact that she had all of those people that showed up, that thought enough about her and her family to show up and be like, we care about this person and we care about this family enough to take time out of our day to do this. And, so it gave me a whole like flood of thoughts. The fact that she never complained is amazing. Like, here's a person who is in pain, who has this debilitating disease, who can't do all the things that you and I take for granted on a daily basis. Just not complain.
Just doesn't complain.
She'd listen to everyone else complain all day long, but never herself be like, oh yeah, man, my life's miserable. I'm in pain. I'm confined to this wheelchair, or I'm on these crutches, or I can't use my hands, or, you name it. So that was the big thing first and foremost. But the other thing was two pretty important ones. I once heard a famous actor, and I can't remember his name right now. They asked him it was an actor or a writer. They asked him what he wanted to be known for. And they were like kind of expecting him to say like some book or movie that he was a participant in. And he goes, I'd really like to be known as a nice guy. And I thought, man, there's something there, right? And that's exactly what happened at this funeral. Like, Patricia passed away, and every person that got up had like this amazing story about how awesome this person was and how much better their lives were for her being in it. Right? She didn't complain. That was a big one. But the fact that she had a positive impact on all of these people's lives, enough to the point where they took a day off on their Saturday and they went and celebrated this person. So that was my thing. Like, when I finally leave this earth, I want people to think that I was a nice guy, right? And I want people to show up. So what do I need to do that? I gotta quit complaining. I gotta change some things, right? Not that I'm planning on leaving this old planet anytime soon, but
you're kind of thinking towards
you start thinking about that kind of stuff.
That day.
Yeah. So
that's pretty impressive that she didn't complain. I mean, that just says something that many people show up, to a funeral like that. And it was weird. It wasn't like choreographed at all. It was just wide open. Anybody could get up and say something, but like, it was
Every single person said that. She never complained. She didn't complain. I didn't hear her complain one time. You know, her own brothers and sisters didn't say that. Like, and they would be like, yeah, I kind of feel guilty now because I'd go to her and like complain about, you know, X, Y, and Z. She never had a complaint. I'm like, wait a minute, you got a complaint. You got a lot of complaints, right? It's pretty interesting.
Huh.
It's outlook, right? It's like your attitude towards things. And I have a real bad habit of complaining. And I've been working on this consciously for like the last probably 10 or 15 years. I've been really working on that whole complain thing. And I didn't really come to realize it until one of my kids started complaining about stuff. And I'm like, why are you complaining about this? What is your problem? Well, kids,
they're sponges.
They're sponges. They mirror their parents or their figures that are in their lives. It just happens to be my kids, happens to be me.
They were as a sponge. They were soaking up what you were
which was
putting
nothing
out,
but complaining,
or the mirroring. Yeah.
Nothing but complaining, and I had a lot of complaints. And you know, it didn't get me anywhere. That's the ultimate lesson that I've learned this week.
Complaining didn't get you anywhere.
Didn't get me squat, but but annoyance by others because they got tired of hearing me whine.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my big lesson this week.
Wow.
It's one I've been trying to learn for a while, but that was like right up, sucker punched right in the kisser, you know, like bang.
It's so interesting too how somebody like that wouldn't necessarily be somebody that would be in your life for no other reason than her husband worked with your dad and they were friends.
Yeah.
And then as a kid, like when I was a kid, and you know, you have like your different friends that come from different activities that you're doing.
Yeah, like
right?
Little League or soccer or 4-H. Or,
I got my 4-H friends. I got my soccer friends. I've got, you know, somebody might have like their music friends that they do music with. They baseball friends or whatever. And your church friends, your school friends, you know, your childhood friends that then go to a different school, but you're still friends, you know?
Yeah.
And you kind of, you probably never really thought, or maybe you did or you didn't think about this, but you kind of wonder, you're like, well, why are we friends with these people? Like
guilt by association.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm talking like Trisha, right? And her husband, you probably, just as a kid, it was just normal. It was just like, oh, Trisha and her husband are coming over for barbecue or whatever.
It was like, oh, next weekend we're gonna go over their house and we're gonna go swimming in the pool and have a barbecue, or you know, we're all gonna go see a movie, you know, blah blah blah, and that was just like
they were just friends had.
Yeah, they liked each other enough to hang out outside of work. And then, you know, the extended family was just kind of along for the ride. Right.
And then I mean, that sounds like a bunch of experiences that kind of culminated at her funeral.
It was,
I mean, did you realize that beforehand, or was it?
No, because, you know, I was just a dumb kid. So like,
I mean, even as you were older?
As I got older and would hear about stuff. So their kids were quite a bit younger than me and my brothers. So there's 4 kids in my family. Their kids they only had 2. Their kids were closer to my younger 2 siblings.
Gotcha.
So really, as I got older, my parents still kept hanging out, but like I was a teenager, so I was out doing teenager kid stuff. occasionally I'd hang out, but not like as consistently as I did when I was younger. And then, like I said, the place where my dad and her husband worked, that place had closed down. So then they went to different jobs and different things. And then, as life happens, you kind of drift apart from things. And so, what was once like almost a weekly activity together became like a once a month activity, and then once every year 6 months, activity. Yeah. And then it just kind of gradually broke apart. But they still like kept in contact either through phone calls or, as the internet came along, messengers and Facebook and that sort of thing. So, but back a little bit, when I was younger, my parents would tell us like, okay, be careful, like running around the pool, like be careful that you don't like bump into Trisha because she just got out of surgery or she's got, these other things going on and you don't want to like knock her down or run into her or hurt her. So you got to be careful, like stay in the pool or stay on that side of the yard, just be aware. Cause like my little brother was like the Tasmanian devil. He'd just like running whirlwind of chaos. So, like you got to be careful. But other than that, it wasn't like really, like we weren't aware of life events that much, because she's still present and still with us. It wasn't like she was, had this like cancer or something, right? Like where she could be gone in 6 months. Right. It wasn't like that kind of thing. So, and she'd still laugh and joke and be as active as she possibly could. And at that point she was still like, when I was younger, she was still walking around and doing things. She was just a little bit slower. And so, it wasn't like on the surface as much, if that makes sense. Like she wasn't confined. Yeah. She wasn't like confined to a hospital bed. Yeah.
What else? So she never complained. What else? What are some of the other characteristics she had? Like she had a very distinct voice.
Yeah, she was super. Like you could pick up her voice just about anywhere.
So give us like an impression.
Oh, dude, no, I can't do impressions. But I will.
But she remembered
she remembered people like
names.
She just got and it was just a genuine like care for people. She was always concerned about what you were doing, what was going on in your life, kind of thing.
She made it about you.
Yeah, really cool.
That's a good characteristic.
Really cool. Yeah, a lot of life lessons to learn there. And I learned a whole bunch of stuff from listening to like all of her family and friends and stuff talking. Just cool stories, just like one of those people that were like, my life is better for knowing this person.
Yeah, and it's so funny because you didn't know that at the time.
No.
You only realized that your life is better for knowing this person in hindsight.
In hindsight. Yeah.
And it kind of was a remembrance at this funeral, this huge funeral that you were talking about.
Yeah. And two things there. Yes, you're absolutely 100% spot on. And the other thing is I'm a real slow learner. So, yeah.
You can't be that slow.
Apparently. Apparently I am. No, it just,
how old was she when she passed?
Oh, that
70s, 80s?
No, not that old.
Not that old?
No, late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was too soon for sure, which is a bummer. Yeah.
Well,
but go ahead.
No, it's I've had that happen so many times, and I just turned 40 last week.
Yeah.
So, and that's been a lesson that I've really learned, unfortunately, as you get older and you start seeing more and more people around you, get older and they start passing and
or things happen.
Yeah. Life happens and people are taken away, but you really kind of don't really appreciate, at least I do. You don't really appreciate people as much as you should while they're alive. And then you go to their funeral and you're like, oh wow, like that's, now I understand.
Well, we get so caught up in things, right?
The nonsense of life.
Yeah, you get so caught up in stuff. I get reminded of that, like Twitter, right? You have Twitter.
Yeah.
Or X, excuse me.
Yeah.
Whatever. I call it Twitter. It's Twitter. It's like, I'm not going to change my name from Dustin because I don't like it anymore to something else. Because that's my name. It's been my name for 45 years.
X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah, it's Twitter. Come on. Elon, get it together. But you go on Twitter, and it's nothing but people complaining about one thing or the other, right? You post something. If you're a political person, you post something, and then like all the people on the opposite side of that just heap garbage on top of you, right?
Yep.
And vice versa. Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever. Communist, you name it. Whatever political party you assign yourself, if you post something in favor of that political party, guaranteed 100%, if the right people see it, all of those replies, 100% are going to be in the contrary to your idea. I think that's the way it's designed, right? I get caught up in that kind of quagmire where I'm just like, this sucks because, or that sucks because, it's just garbage, right? Garbage in, garbage out.
You're sitting in your home and you're probably there with your wife and your kids and in your nice house, and it's a good day, and then you see one post on X, and now it changes your whole mood. And that person, who knows where that person is that made that
if
post.
It's even a person.
If it's even a person.
It's probably a bot.
And they made that, and now you're upset and angry, and you can't focus on cooking your spaghetti or whatever you're doing. Like,
yeah. But no, I mean, I get too caught up into that with everyday life.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody cuts you off on the road. You're driving. Yeah, jerk. That was a great way to drive. Nice blinker, butthead. I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of sin on that. But life's too short, man. We're only on this rock for a little time. And that was my big takeaway, I think. That was the biggest takeaway. Like, leave a wake so large that it got to fill a basketball gym to mourn you, right? Like, how cool? How cool?
Yeah, that's that really shows the amount of people that she affected their lives.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm so guilty of this, getting caught up in like, oh, I got to get this thing, this shiny new thing, whatever it is. I want that thing, right? I'll hang pictures up in the house. I want that thing. It's just crap. It's just like, whatever. In 6 months after I get that thing, it's not going to be important anymore.
Yeah.
It's just another old thing, and I'm on to the next thing. Life's more than that. Right? Life's more than that. Anyway, what else you got? Anything else? That was my big takeaway this week.
That is a big takeaway.
Yeah.
That's a big takeaway. And I've been to funerals, weddings, all those types of events where it's an event, right?
Yeah.
Someone's passing, someone's getting married.
Where's the most common family reunion?
Funerals, right?
Funerals and weddings.
Funerals and weddings, yeah. So, and you have those things at those events where people are talking, right? You know, and every single time I go to one of those, I make it a point to always get up and say something. Like if I feel even the slightest little tug of like, oh, I've got to stand up,
even
and
if it's
something.
like just congratulations or
just something, because if you get up there, it's that, you know, it's that age old adage. Like if you know, you'll regret it later if you don't do it.
Absolutely.
And we're always afraid of like getting up and sounding like an idiot. Right. But what do you want? The pain of getting up there and maybe sounding like an idiot, or walking away and
going, oh, I should have said something.
I should have said something. And I've been to those things where I've told people, like, I'll lean over at a funeral or a wedding and be like, you better go say something. You're going to regret it later.
Yeah.
You should go say something. And sure enough, some people have gotten up and done it, and they'll go up and they'll talk, and then they'll come sit back down next to me. And I'm like, and I'll whisper, you know, I'll lean over and whisper, be like, aren't you glad you got up and said something? And they'll be like, yeah, I'm glad I did it. You know?
Yeah.
And so, that's
good advice, because like, yeah, I regret that. I mean, it's a bummer. I should have said something because she deserves something, you know.
You were there.
I was there.
You were there.
I was there, which is better than not being there, of course. But really cool. It was a really cool experience. And it was, you know, it was sad, but it wasn't tragic, right? Like, for one, I think people, it was somber. That's a good word. It was somber, but it was like, it was a very, I don't know. I'll just stick with somber. It was a somber, but not like, it was one of those things where like you had that good feeling in your soul, right?
Like it was okay.
It was like, yeah, she was going to be okay, but it was still kind of just like, oh.
Where were all of the people in her life from? Like, where were
all
they?
over? A lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of like previous places that she had worked, or school clubs or things like that, church groups, that sort of thing. And I didn't know this, but where she grew up was a very small town off of Highway 299, way out. And like, there were like 5 kids in her little circle that she grew up with. And I think all of them were, I'm not sure, they were all there. And they all talked about different activities and different things they used to do in their little neighborhood that they had. How they would like rotate in the summertime and go to, like, all of them would go to one person's house for the weekend, and then they'd rotate the next weekend and go to the next person's house. Like rinse and repeat, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, it was just cool. It was like all walks of life, all different types of people came out of the woodwork and like talked about it.
That's when you know somebody has really a big reach. 'Cause I've been to funerals where, you know, 10, 15 people show up and you're like, man.
I've been to some where it was just like the immediate family, you know, and those are tragic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or like the people who you talk to people and they're like, well, I don't even want a funeral. I don't.
Yeah.
Want to come. And you're like, man, that's sad. Do they just not want the attention on themselves? Or
so I've had somebody in my own family tell me that. You know, I told them, tough. you ain't gonna be there.
You don't have a say in this.
You're not gonna be there. It's not for you anyway. That sounded so. You ain't gonna be there. Oh my Lord. It slips out every once in a while. I can't help it, folks. Hey, What do you think? Call it? Right on. Friends, grasshoppers, thanks for joining us today. I hope this reaches you in a good spot, and I hope that you take something good from it. You can reach out to us on any of our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, and TikTok. All of those can be found at The Formless Pod. You can email us, theformlesspod@gmail.com. And we have a website called The Formless Pod, where we have merch and updates about where we are at and what we are doing. Until then, friends,